Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first webinar for our customers only. So this is Mohammed Awais, founder and CEO of qordata. I've had the pleasure of speaking to you or meeting you before this pandemic hit, a lot of you. But there's, of course, a series and a lot of new members to the qordata family. So I want to welcome them. This is a first of many that we'll conduct to keep you updated on the progress that qordata is making, the investments we're making into our compliance suite, and the new feature and functionalities that we're bringing to you to make your jobs and your lives easier. So this will be a first of many. We have a full agenda for the hour to take you through the entire update. So I'll start with a quick introduction about where qordata is, what we offer, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the key partnerships that we've done over the last couple of quarters. And then following that, we'll go into some of the updates over the last couple of quarters in each of our product suites. And within those updates, I'll invite my colleagues to share and demo those features live on the call as well. Towards the end, we'll have about 10 minutes left for the Q&A session, and we'll be happy to take any questions from the attendees. So I know some of you have joined qordata family as customers several years ago, and some of you just joined recently. But the breadth of our offerings I wanted to just quickly provide. qordata, our vision is to become the compliance operations partner for life sciences companies, pharma and device. And as of today, our offerings include HCP engagement module that we will showcase towards the end of our conversation today. We also have transparency reporting, both US, federal and state, as well as global. And then what we're known for is our compliance insights, analytical monitoring around spend, around prescriptions, and any type of compliance risks. And lastly, a new product that we announced a couple of years ago around digitizing live monitoring and remediation and case management called Compliance Central. So we'll give you a quick overview and demo of that product as well. As a small but growing company, we're very blessed and humbled to be partner of choice for a very long list of life sciences customers. I believe we're now over 30 customers and counting. So I want to extend a very warm welcome to the customers that have joined the qordata family this year. A lot of you have joined this year, and I also want to be very thankful and grateful for the ones that have been with us for the last 4 years over our journey to build out a compliance operations platform that's the most advanced and is available at a very effective price point. So that's just a quick introduction for some of you that may know about our offerings and our customers, but gives you a little bit more insight as you go. As you do your work, you may have additional areas that you think qordata can help, and we can certainly talk about that. So quickly moving into some key partnership updates, and I'll start out with qordata and MedComply partnership. And basically what we have done is we've brought in MedComply. MedComply has a HCP engagement solution that has been used by over 25 pharma and device companies. And we've partnered with MedComply to make that HCP engagement solution part of the qordata suite of product offerings. So you can purchase HCP engagement from qordata. It'll be supported by your qordata project management and account team, and it'll be fully integrated with your qordata suite of products. So very excited to bring in really amazing technology for compliance teams to help enable the HCP contracting process in a very compliant way. And Chris is on the call today, and he'll go through the feature functionality of a HCP engagement module. But I just wanted to cover sort of the 3 things that I feel that are relevant that might be very, very useful for you as you look towards doing your jobs. So the HCP engagement module comes baked in with the HCP contracting process, including needs assessment from your business teams. It also has a built-in fair market value engine that provides fair market value assessment based on the inputs that we provide. And then there is self-service portals for HCPs as well as grants and other types of forms and requests with a workflow built in. And all of this comes baked in with full integration to qordata's transparency reporting in our analytics engine as well. So very, very excited about this partnership and looking forward to having our customers deploy this, and we will be able to showcase a demonstration towards the end. Looks like my screen is not shared anymore. I don't know if there's a technical issue. Mashood, can you please confirm if you can see my screen?
Mohammed, we can see your screen.
Okay, all right, so it must be just a single attendee problem. So I got the request from Mark. Mark, it looks like you may have to, Mashood, if you could help Mark, see if we can get his screen back.
Sure.
Continue. Hopefully everyone else can see the screen. So moving forward from there, the second major partnership that we want to announce that is very, very exciting is we partnered with SAP Concur back in January of 2020. So it took us about a year to work with Concur and to become an official certified partner. And last quarter, we rolled out a Concur connector for our Compliance Insights platform. What that does is it allows you to download Concur data without any manual effort. So automatically, Concur's data can be downloaded into qordata's Compliance Insights platform on a daily frequency. So what we will do is, in a couple of slides later, I will invite my colleague Rehan to showcase how easy it is to integrate Concur into your Compliance Insights software. So what is qordata Aggregate Spend Connect for Concur? So some of the challenges with Concur data are the need for extraction of the data and then downloading it into an FTP site from where qordata then takes it. And a lot of times compliance teams have to do this on a weekly or monthly basis. And it can be a challenging manual task. And then once we have that, there is risks of human errors, risks of transferring data. And then of course, when it's not automated, there could be challenges with the data itself. So the solution is we have direct access now to your Concur systems once you authorize qordata. And so the data is transferred directly from Concur into the qordata cloud solution. And you can get relatively real-time view of your data, both in your compliance analytics as well as your federal reporting solutions. And the benefits are, of course, the aggregate spend transfer is automatic for Concur. As some of you know, Concur is probably the most voluminous or the most highest frequency data feed that we have in our compliance area. And so we avoid all of the time and effort in relationship to the manual data load and provide more visibility to compliance teams more real time. And you know, we typically have these before and after pictures for the for the fitness industry, but just what would be the scenario before using the Concur connector versus after you use the Concur connector. So if you're not using the Concur connector, which would be pretty much most of our customers today, what you need to do is you typically create a report in Concur, and then you create an extract. That extract then you upload or save onto a SharePoint or an FTP file From there, what we do as qordata is we download that file and then we incorporate that into our qordata aggregate spend system and then provide you access after we've done some testing to make sure that the data is appropriate. So that's before Concur Connect. Now, once you incorporate Concur Connect into your compliance insights, whether you're using aggregate spend reporting tool or just compliance analytics, you have a one-time Concur setup, which we will show you right now how easy it is to go into your Concur installation and select qordata and sign up for our connector. Once you have done that and our team has set you up, then you don't have to do anything else. You automatically get daily download of your Concur data to be made available into your Compliance Insights platform on a daily basis. So what I'll do is with that, I'll ask my colleague Rehan to walk us through how to set up Concur and how easy it is to get that integrated with qordata. So Mashud, if you can pass the connection to Rehan, and we can have that shown quickly. So Rehan, over to you for a quick demonstration of how to integrate Concur with qordata.
Thank you, Mohammed. All right, folks, let me know when you guys can see my screen.
We can see your screen.
And do you see my mouse, the Concur application?
I see your notepad right now in your email.
Oh, okay. All right, what about now?
Yep, now I see your Concur.
All right, folks, thank you, Mohammed, and good morning. So today I'll be demonstrating the steps required to establish the connection between the Concur application and qordata. So in Concur, we have two versions. One is the standard version and one is the professional version. The steps required are the same for both. The user should be the admin user. Typically, you would have access to the App Center for the Concur application. So what you're going to do is click on the App Center tab here, and you would just search for qordata. So this is the qordata aggregate spend application that we built, and this is the landing page over here. So you're going to click on Connect, agree to the terms and conditions. So at this point, you would be shown a landing page where you would be entering the access code. Now, this access code will be provided to you by your point of contact in qordata. So I'll just generate an access code right now.
And while Rehan is showing that, for some of you, the Concur platform would probably be owned by your finance team or your CFO. So you would need for them to actually do what Rehan is doing it right now.
Right. So I have entered the access code. It's typically an 8-digit code that is provided to you. You're going to click on Connect. So now we see the connection has been established. And if I X out of this, now we see that the connection is connected. And in future, anytime you want to disconnect, you can come here and disconnect. So once this is done, we have the ability, based on your needs, to sync your attendee extract on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, or yearly. So once the sync is run, we would see that, the file has been transferred over to qordata application. All right, so that's pretty much it. Any questions? Please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rehan. So everyone on the call, if you do have questions, please feel free to ask in the question or comment box, and we'll take them as we go, or we'll take them towards the end. Rehan, I'll take the screen back so that we can go through the rest of the content. Thank you so much for your demonstration of the integration with Concur. Very exciting for our customers. This benefit for the partnership will be a faster exchange of data, and you can get it near real time, as I said, and of course without any risk of errors that might be in the process of manual data transfers. So moving forward, what we will do next is go through some of the updates on all of qordata's products. I realize some of you may have one product or more. So these may be new, but it'll be very, very valuable for you if you take a look at it, and there may be some additional areas of the product that might be relevant and useful for you. So first off is our aggregate spend federal and state reporting solution, and some of the new capabilities that we've added over the last few quarters. So I'll walk you through it, and then I'll have my colleague Akash also demonstrate that functionality into the tool as well. So the first part of this is what we did is this year we worked a lot on automating the entire state reporting process. So what we've had before was the federal reporting part was direct download from our aggregate spend system through the user interface. But over this year, the team has worked really hard to incorporate all of the state reports, and these are now downloadable directly from your user interface with a click of a button. So a couple of things to note: we've covered all the states that are required, and in a couple of states, in addition to the state report and the companion report that you will see in each of the states mentioned, a couple of additional reports that we're doing are gift reports and gift transaction reports for Vermont, DC, and Minnesota. And as I said, all of this is automated, again, available to everyone that uses our aggregate spend system. In addition, some of the new features are we've updated our companion report for the federal reporting cycle, and this includes additional columns that refer back to your source feeds and transformations. We now also have multi-year for changing the reporting year and downloading the reports mentioned in number 3 and 4. And we've done a lot of work on the physician verification process to make it more robust and also give you more access and visibility when errors show up in the records. So what I'll do now is I'll invite my colleague Akash to walk us through these 5 features in the platform itself. So Akash, if you can walk us through, handing it over to you. Thank you, Akash. We can see your screen.
Awesome. So first I'll start with the automation of state reporting. So the process is, during the creation of federal reports, our system automatically detects the transactions that are not reportable into the CMS, and then we store those transactions in a separate staging area. And our system then, picks those transactions by state and process those as per the state regulations, and then finally creates the reports in those specific state formats. And then you have the ability to, using our system, download those reports under the aggregate spend menu. You can go into the download reports, and you can select the year for which you are downloading report. In this case, I can select 2020, and I can download the report here, select any state report. You just simply select your report and click on download. And this would give you your Excel or CSV file that's already in a format that is required by the state regulation. And here you go. You can see the required columns and information is here. From here, I can go into the next feature, which is companion files. So companion files are basically, we have created this feature where you would have all of your transactions regardless of they're reportable or not. This feature allows you to quickly identify transactions that are in error and require further remediation or correction. So using the same interface of download reports, you can download your companion files. We give you companion files by general and research. I'm showing you for federal reporting these companion files. So I'll download a companion file for general. I click on download, and you can see this Excel file would have all of your transactions with additional information about they're reportable or not. And it would also show you if any of those transactions have validation issues. due to which this transaction is still requires remediation. So towards the end, you can see validation issues. It would show you the names of the columns where these issues are. And also, we have added record status as reportable or action required. We have also added name of the file and the source system name. And if I scroll further towards the left, you would have actual transactions and details around it. So this was on the companion file. From here, we have also introduced another feature of multi-year reporting. So this feature allows you to, create your reports for different years. The first case here is, let's say in 2019, you have submitted your report using the qordata platform to the CMS, and then during the dispute period, you find few transactions or few disputes. You can always then correct your transactions into your source system and then upload your files back into the aggregate spend or qordata platform. You don't need to do any additional work. Our system then automatically creates the report by state or federal report. It's easy as you simply go into change reporting year. You select the reporting year for which you are uploading the files. Let's say I'm selecting 2019 here. I confirm, and then I can go into upload files and upload the relevant files for 2019 here. And the final feature that I'm going to show you is physician verification dashboard. So we have created this dashboard to give you quick visibility around your physician validation and matching, the number of physicians that have successfully matched, and also this dashboard would show you the physicians that have not successfully matched. So we are using different combinations to match your physicians. We are matching your physicians by NPI status. As you could see, this is shown in the first pie chart. The green ones are successfully matched, and the red ones are not successfully matched because of missing NPI. And then we also match your physicians by primary type status, taxonomy status, and towards the end, you can see the number of physicians that are reportable at this moment, which is 201. So this was about it. If you have any questions or thoughts, please send us on the chat or comment box. Back to you, Mom.
Thank you, Akash. Thank you for that demonstration. So again, we just talked a little bit about the new features. We haven't gone through the entire demonstration of our federal reporting platform. So if you need to have that, we can certainly have a separate conversation. Also this year, we introduced what we call white glove service, where we basically become embedded as part of your team. And then take on more responsibilities for the reporting cycle. So coordinating with your external vendors, coordinating with your internal business teams, being responsible and accountable for making sure data is coming in through into our system from a variety of source systems that you have. And we also then handhold you all the way through CMS submission. So that's an additional service layer that we've added for a few new customers that have joined the qordata family, where there hasn't been a huge compliance presence, and the ask has been to free up the compliance leadership team from the burden of transparency reporting. So that's an additional area that you can take advantage of. What I'll do now is move into talking about Compliance Central in live monitoring, which is basically this year there's been no or very little live monitoring going on, but the principles are applicable to virtual monitoring as well. But some of you may not be familiar because this is sort of a newer offering that we've launched about a year and a half ago, working with a set of existing customers. And what we're attempting to do is build out a monitoring suite that captures both analytical monitoring as well as live and post-event monitoring. So this is how we think about monitoring. So what I'll do is I'll give you a little bit more context on Compliance Central, because I know most of our current customers don't use Compliance Central, and so this will be a good kind of quick introduction as to what it is and what it does and how it can benefit you. and we'll also do a quick demo of Compliance Central as well. So within our core data monitoring suite, what we cover is your monitoring plan, which is probably something that you establish based on your risk assessment and your risk prioritization. From that monitoring plan, you have some level of monitoring activities that you're going to perform. And we consider monitoring activities as one of three different buckets, whether it's a live, which means that, or in the current context, live or virtual, which means that there is an event going on and somebody from representing compliance is actually part of that event and filling out a checklist. Analytical monitoring is what we've been known for years, which is our data analytics platform for rule-based alerts and risks. And then, of course, your transaction post-event, which some people call desktop monitoring, where you basically look at an event after it has happened and review it from a compliance perspective. What happens across those three activities is that when you do have observations, you have to take remediation or corrective actions. And what we noticed in a lot of organizations is that these remediation actions were either managed on an Excel sheet or in an email, and a lot of times they were prone to getting lost or not having the right level of updates and visibilities throughout the team. So we have built a full remediation module that allows you to then track those activities with assigned owners and due dates so that you can follow up and actually take actions. So this is kind of the formation of Compliance Central, where we thought of, okay, what can we do from a technology perspective that allows compliance teams to work in a single technology solution that allows them to do everything that they come to work to do. And that's sort of been our vision. And we've built Compliance Central from the grounds up with the analogy of your iPhone and App Store, right, where you can download different applications to do different types of activities. And in the beginning, the first use case we've taken for Compliance Central has been around monitoring. So within Compliance Central, you can schedule your live monitoring activities, or in today's environment, your virtual monitoring activities for speaker programs, ride along. And you can see all of those activities being scheduled by the system through workflows to the appropriate assigned parties. And then as those activities are being conducted, you can see them in dashboards. You can once your activities result in some observations or actions, you can assign them as tasks, track them, create remediation action items, and we'll show you all of that. Just quickly covering what are some of the live monitoring features, or again, replace live with virtual monitoring in today's environment as well, is if you're conducting any sort of virtual or live monitoring, we basically digitize your checklist from a paper-based into a systems-based. Each activity is also custom configured with a workflow so that you can have a smooth handoff from the monitor that's doing the activity to the compliance team, to your legal or sales teams if you need to involve them as well. Scheduling, pre-audits, dashboards, and of course, history and audits are available from the system itself. Currently, we support compliance team members within Compliance Central, typically in the roles of officer, associate. We also support internal and external monitors. This is important because when you do have external monitoring firms, we only provide them with the visibility into the events that they're monitoring and not the entire compliance lifecycle. And as we work with the customers on different types of live and virtual activities, one of the things we've found is this 5-step workflow that is very consistent around these virtual and live activities. And it starts with some level of planning, how many activities you're going to do, who's going to do it, what type. Then the scheduling of those activities, who's going to be the monitor, who are you going to conduct it on, where they're going to happen. And then the actual execution and submission of the activity, right? So once you've conducted the activity, there's a form that needs to be submitted. Following that, there's a review cycle by compliance team, which allows you to then take remediation actions, cases, investigations, et cetera, additional actions that you may want to take. before the activity is closed out for storage and then further data and analytics. Within Compliance Central, we also provide a full-fledged task management module, which we also call remediation. So if you do have observations in your live or virtual monitoring activities, you want to fix them, or you want to make those changes, or you want to take those actions, you can log those actions, assign them to appropriate users, and track them with a priority and a date. And Akash, my colleague, will show you that as part of the demo. This has been very, very successful. A lot of our customers have just bought Compliance Central to have the ability to be able to do this at the compliance team level, to be able to share tasks, have visibility. And then also from an external review perspective, if someone comes in and wants to take a look at how you've been operating your compliance program and the actions you've taken, this gives you a single view across all the compliance incidents and all the actions that you've taken, with the entire documentation stored in a single place. So it becomes very powerful in terms of telling your story around how you've structured and improved your compliance program. Within Compliance Central, we also have a document repository. So in case you want to have your policies, procedures, and other types of documents readily accessible to your compliance teams, you can use our document repository. So this becomes an add-on to your existing SharePoint or Box or some other internal tool set that you might have, and it's available directly from Compliance Central. So before we go into the additional features that we're building into Compliance Central, what I'd like to do is have my colleague Akash walk us through Compliance Central. As I said in the beginning, it's a relatively newer offering, and I think a lot of our customers will find benefit from it. So Akash, if you want to quickly take us through Compliance Central features, that'll be great.
All right, Mohammed, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So this is our Compliance Central platform. As you can see, these tiles, as Mohammed already mentioned, we have used the analogy of App Store. Each tile would be one of the functionality of the compliance teams. So I'll start with the monitoring plan. We have observed that most of the pharma companies have some sort of a monitoring plan in the start of the year, and our system allows you to incorporate your monitoring plan in Compliance Central. So as you could see, it's easy as clicking on any activity here, and you can set or change them. I'm setting the ride along activities to 60 and saving it. And towards the right, you can see it gives you the status of your activities that you have been conducting throughout the year, number of activities conducted, and if there are any observation in those activities. From here, we can go into the ride along live monitoring activity. So as you could see on ride along page, you would have your previous ride along coming in this list. It would show you the ride along date, when this was conducted, creation, territory, city, and additional information. And you can search for any ride along activity by date, monitor, sales rep, and other. So I'm going to schedule a ride along activity here. So typically you would have your own checklist and a workflow. This is a dummy workflow for the purpose of this demonstration. And I'm scheduling a live monitoring activity, picking a date here, type of the ride along, and name of the monitor. And as you could see, once we select the monitor, you have additional information coming in, the title of the monitor and monitor company. And the same is true for sales rep. Once I've selected the sales rep, you can have additional information coming in. I can select the state and city. And one additional thing that you can see is some of the columns are showing are highlighted in red. This means these fields are mandatory. And once you provide information here, it becomes green. And then you have plan for the day, And we have incorporated a small, pre-audit checklist here, and you click on schedule button. So once you schedule this activity in this workflow, it goes into the monitor ride along user. So at this point, I'm logged in as compliance head, and I'm going to log out from here and go into monitor login just to show you the number of activities and monitors login. And once I've logged in into the monitoring in the monitor user, you can see this monitor have limited access to the tiles or functionality. I can go into the ride along, and you might have multiple monitors, and they can only see their live monitoring activities in the system. So I can sort the data and look for the newly scheduled ride along activity. I can invoke this activity. So this is on the day of the ride along, or the day when sales rep is meeting the physician. He can then fill in the checklist with this yes or no answers. And we have also incorporated a functionality where monitor could fill in this checklist partially and come back again to fill in the remaining fields in the system. And once this has been submitted by the monitor, it goes back to the compliance head for review and close. So I'm going to log out from monitor here and log in back as compliance head. I'm going into ride along again, and we can see that activity should be in a different status as submitted. And then compliance head can approve this and close this activity. And once these activities are completed, or during the process while these activities are being conducted, you also have the ability to look at the status of these live monitoring activities using these dashboards. So one of this dashboard is showing you the number of activities that you've been conducting by state, and you take your mouse over the states, it would show you the activities have been conducted in specific state. Let's say I can see 7 activities in California, 1 in Colorado, and 1 in Iowa. And then you have different visuals for your individual questions as well. You also have the ability to download these visuals. You simply click here, and you can get the image file of these dashboards. And from here, I can go into the remediation module to show you that how you can create a task. So you would have all of your remediation items coming in the remediation functionality, and you can create a new remediation task here. Simply click on create, and so in one of your ride along activities, you have identified your sales rep is discussing off label, and then you can create a task here. John Doe requires training on off label products. You can set the due date for the completion of this activity, and you can also assign this activity to one of your colleagues. You can also set the priority of this task, and if you want to, you can also tag this task with the checklist as well. And I can save this task for remediation, and once I do so, you can see these items coming in the remediation module homepage. Go back into remediation. And you have the ability to then open any remediation item from here, add comments as your team conducts the training, or if there are any updates, they can add comments. We also allow you to upload the files into the remediation tasks. Simply click on upload and you can add any file into the system. Then you can also change the status of your remediation activities. Once this has been conducted, completed, you can close. And the next feature that I'm going to show you is document repository. This allows you to have an internal repository for your documents. Your team would have access to this repository. They can upload files here in Compliance Central module. It's simple as clicking on any document that is already there and uploading your files. You can also create new folders if you want to. This was pretty much from my side. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment box. Thank you. Back to you, Mohammed.
Thank you, Akash. Thank you for that demonstration. I did see one hand raised. I think it was Carmen. I don't know if there's a way to unmute to have that question being asked. Mashoud, if you can help me, maybe unmute Carmen to have her question asked. What I'll do is I'll continue with the rest of the conversation. Actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about some upcoming features of Compliance Central, but instead, since we have very limited time, I want to give an opportunity for Chris to walk us through HCP engagement and how that's connected to qordata. And Carmen, if you wouldn't mind, if you can maybe put your question or thoughts in the chat window and we'll tackle that. I'll cover, if we have time, I'll cover some of the additional monitoring capabilities later. But just quickly introducing MedComply and the HCP engagement partnership that qordata has done. If you think about the role of HCP contracting as sort of the front end of the process, at which point we're starting to work with our physician customers, and then taking all of that data flowing into transparency and then moving that over towards reporting as well as analytics and compliance monitoring. And so we wanted to create this end-to-end complete process. And when we spoke with Chris and his team, they've done a great job in creating a solution for HCP engagement that has all the right check marks as well as is available at a very effective price point and integrates really well with the qordata solution and can be implemented in a very short span of time. So we brought it in, and it's now part of the qordata solution available through your qordata team. And if you think about your risks within this process, having some sort of automation upfront will help you with dealing with a lot of headaches downstream in the system. So what I'll do is I'll invite Chris to come and talk a little bit about the features of HCP engagement and also provide a demonstration. And we'll take the questions towards the end. We'll leave maybe 5 or so minutes for those questions. So Chris, over to you. Let me know if you want me to continue flipping the slide, and I'll be happy to do so as well.
Thanks, Mohammed. I might need permission to share my screen. I'm trying to see if I do. Oh, there we go. Are you able to see my screen, Mohammed?
I do.
Fantastic. So thanks again, Mohammed, for the kind introduction. We're very excited to be working with qordata and adding in an integrated healthcare professional engagement solution. In the interest of time, I'll kind of go through this at a high level. But what we're trying to do is build into one system the entire life cycle of engaging a healthcare professional. Obviously, that's probably one of the bigger risk areas for a life science company. Just earlier this week, the special fraud alert from the OIG regarding speaker programs. So within the qordata engagement solution, you can build your annual needs assessment, create all of the request forms to engage consultants. That feeds into a contract management system. And then in the contract management system for your consultants, you're tracking all of the details, the hourly rate. You can calculate a fair market value rate for the consultant. You can do your sanction screening, and then create invoices, and ultimately all of that would flow into qordata for transparency purposes. So I'm going to kind of share one of the consultant profiles just so you can see all the data that we're capturing. But keep in mind, before that even happens, you're building the annual needs assessment within MedComply, within the qordata engagement solution, and then you're building in the request processes. Yeah, we can custom build those request forms, so it's completely customized with branching logic. So there's a very powerful forms engine, and that powerful forms engine can really be used to automate any type of manual process or request process. So we have clients that are using this for promotional sponsorships, demo product. It's really, can be used in whatever way, would work best for the company. So if I go into a consultant profile, we're going to pull information from the NPI registry to populate some of the information, but there's a lot of other information that you can add in as well. So the doctor does have the ability to log into a branded website to do self-service. So the doctor can go in and submit a request for payment, view documents, update their demographic info. So there's a lot of capabilities for the doctor to lessen the burden on the compliance team if you can get them to log in and do some self-service. We track all of the payment address, preferred address info, company name, EIN number, their practice address, all of their medical license details, license number, state, taxonomy codes, languages, date of birth, all of the assistance info. We do all of the sanction screening in the US. So at the click of a button, it'll go out and check the OIG, GSA, SAM, FDA, OFAC, and all the state Medicaid lists. So you don't need to leave the system to do all of your screening when you onboard a new consultant. For reporting purposes, we track like business unit, department, contact, product. So these fields are optional, but they're helpful for reporting purposes. You might just want to see doctors that are, good at white papers versus, research. Documents, at a minimum, there should be a CV and an executed contract on file. And then we have like sort of a health section. So when you engage a consultant, these are the things that you should be doing. There should be a business need, F&B calculated, compliance approval, an executed agreement, and vendor setup with the W-9 in the system. So these are just check boxes to help you when you're engaging doctors to ensure that you've checked all the boxes. We track all the contract details. So description of contract, all of the hourly rates, business unit, department, expiration date, start date. We also track the max contract value. If you do have max contract values, we can track that based on the invoices. We associate needs with contracts. So if you have your annual needs assessment, again, we're creating relationships between the needs and the contracts and payments to doctors. And from the contract, we can create a professional looking invoice that's then sent to accounts payable for processing. So the doctor can create an invoice directly, or I can send this to the doctor for them to review, and in an email, they can approve that. So we're kind of making it easy to engage and compensate doctors when they're done with their services. If I go back to the basic profile, this is the fair market value calculator. So this is integrated in. We look at 11 criteria, and doctors are placed into one of 4 tiers. And we have a wide variety of specialties that are loaded. And if we need to, we can add more, again, as needed. We capture information like education, hospital affiliation, fellowships, and board certifications, a speaker bio, and then also training. So if you're doing a speaker program, you want to make sure that your doctor maybe had off-label training or compliance training. So you can create like mini training courses and assign those training courses to the consultant. So within the system, we can also manage speaker program events or just general events like cadaver labs. This allows us, when you're creating an event, that when you assign a speaker to that event, it's going to flag it and say, whoa, that doctor is not trained. So it's going to flag, and it's going to flag things like attendees. So within the system, we can actually manage all of your speaker programs and other types of events with attendee sign-in sheets and invitations and registration capabilities. We pull in information from the CMS Compare database. We pull in information from the open payments system. So you can quickly see at a glance all the other companies that your consultants are working with. And then in the link tab, we're creating relationships between all the other types of requests or engagements with this consultant. So within the system, we can do full grants management. So there's an external portal. So somebody can log in and request a charitable donation. So I link that to this doctor. There's also a consultant request that's been linked to this doctor. So any types of requests or usage of a consultant, we're tracking in one place. And all this information is, dashboards and reporting. It can be downloaded into, a CSV file, but you can see like all the F&B data, all the invoices, all the contracts. And then as well in the system, you can see all of the different kind of request forms. So these are just some examples, but charitable donations, promotional sponsorships, healthcare professional requests. So there's all sorts of different request forms that we can build in the system. But it's really meant to be a comprehensive tool. We could also do some third-party due diligence to help you risk rate your vendors. So there's a lot of other functionality, but really the core of it is managing your healthcare professional relationships. So I'll turn it back over to you, Mohammed. I know that was kind of a quick overview, but I wanted to be respectful of everyone's time.
Thank you, Chris. So that covers everything we wanted to cover from product updates, partnership updates, and everything that's happening at Qordatafront. If there is any thoughts or questions, feel free to put them into the questions box. But before you all leave, I did want to share at least an offer so that as you go back and if there's something that kind of sparked your interest, you may want to start looking at it. I did get a question around some of the cost and pricing, and we'll certainly address those. But if there is any specific questions around feature functionality, do let me know. But before you leave, wanted to leave you all with, as a sort of a token for thank you and gratefulness for being our customers, and then spending the 1 hour today with this walkthrough of our product and solution suite, and also consistently providing us feedback to improve our product and services over the time period that you've been part of the QordataData family. We're very pleased to offer you a 50% discount or a 6 months complimentary subscription to Concur Connect. You can reach out to your project manager to start the process if you're interested in trying it out. No strings attached for 6 months. We'll be happy to put that in. You can take a look at it, do a drive on it. Also, if you're using a certain QordataData product, and if you're interested in another set of products or interested in the HCP engagement module that we talked about in the end, we're offering a special 30% discount for the next 2.5 months, all the way till end of January. So if you have a need or think that one of those products could really help with what you're doing, we'll be happy to incorporate that additional discount as kind of a takeaway for you to attend this webinar. As I said, we'll try to do this update more regularly, and we have a lot of exciting stuff coming in additional partnerships as well as products. So very grateful for your participation today. So with that, I'll move towards any final Q&A and comments before we end the webinar. One thing I will share is that we released an HCP meal survey in Q3 that was very well received across the industry, and Right now, we're doing a survey around returning back to the field and its implications for compliance. It'll be really useful if you can take the link. It's available in the chat box now, and fill out and give us your responses for the survey. We're going to release another survey report on how companies are dealing with going back into the field, what are the changes commercial teams are making, what are the changes compliance teams are making when it comes to sales reps going back into the field. So I think it'll be really valuable for everyone in the field, and we'd love to have more input as you from you to have that survey be more valuable to the industry. So that would be really good if you can provide that. We'll really appreciate that. So with that, I'll open up for any final thoughts or question. I know there's one question that has come in, which is asking for the price or cost of a specific module in the product. And I'll certainly have the project manager that serves that account reach out to you for providing the full visibility on the pricing and the offers as well. With that, I'll give another 30 seconds if anyone has any thoughts or final comments, and before we close out the webinar. If you do have any questions, please type it into the question box and I'll be happy to take them. Okay, it looks like either everyone is shy or just ready to enjoy the afternoon. So I won't keep you in for too long. If there's any thoughts or questions, we're always accessible. Again, wanted to thank you and really appreciate you being a customer and a qordata family member. We'll continue to update you on our progress in terms of both products and innovation we're bringing into the compliance space. Thank you for your participation today. With that, I'd like to close out the webinar. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.